Expedition 33 has absolutely blown up since release, and for very good reason. People are declaring that turn-based RPGs are back, even though we get really good ones every single year. Still, Expedition 33 in most cases lives up to and even exceeds the hype around it. With that said, this is not meant to be a review of Expedition 33. There's still quite a lot in this game that I haven't yet experienced. There's a lot of side content, and to be frank, I skipped a lot of it because I had to see how the main story comes to a close. Now don't get me wrong, I'm gonna go back and do all that side content, explore the continent, find all these various secret dungeons, and find even more lore to the story and whatnot, but I was just so hooked on the story in this game, from the opening credits all the way to the end credits. I just beat the main story of Expedition 33 a few nights ago, and if there's one thing that has become abundantly clear to me, is that this is an ending that I will not forget for a very long time. If it's not clear, this video will have massive spoilers for Expedition 33, so if you haven't played it yet, I strongly recommend that you go do so. It's a great game. After you finish it, come back here and watch the video. Alright, you got it? Okay, all the comments that say I spoiled the game are now banned from the comment section. Before we get to the ending, or rather the endings of Expedition 33, let's have a quick recap of the story up to this point. Expedition 33 begins in Lumiere, a town heavily inspired by Paris, France. In the distance is a mythical being known as the Paintress. Once a year she stands up and paints a new number to indicate the age of those who will pass away in the Gommage. The people of Lumiere believe that defeating the Paintress would bring an end to this cycle and allow them to live a full life, and so, each year a group from Lumiere forms an expedition to attempt to bring an end to the Paintress. We follow Gustave, who is incredible, and man, I sure hope nothing bad happens to him. So it turns out that Gustave is not the main character. Honestly, Maëlle is. At the very least, she is 1A to Verso's 1B in terms of importance to the narrative. Verso, Maëlle, Lune, and Ciel continue on their expedition before confronting and defeating the Paintress at the end of Act 2, and that's where things go wild. At this point, the story began to remind me of the anime Attack on Titan. Both of these stories have a moment where everything you thought you knew about the world is completely turned on its head. Similar to Attack on Titan, I suspect that this moment will be fairly divisive, and I'm sure that there will be people who hate the direction the final act takes. Personally, I loved it. While I believe Attack on Titan's ending left a little to be desired, I think Expedition 33 absolutely nails the twist, and I love how this game comes to an end. Upon defeating the Paintress, we see the residents of the world we fought so hard to save die in a Gommage. It turns out that the Paintress has been trying to protect the residents of Lumiere, but her powers are dwindling. The number she paints is a warning to the people who she will no longer be able to protect. But that's actually not the biggest twist. The big twist is that this world, the one we have spent countless hours in, was created by someone in the real world. In fact, it was created by Verso. But no, not that one. We don't learn much about the real world, but we do learn about a family who has the ability to create fully fledged worlds by painting them. They are fittingly referred to as the Painters. In the real world, the Painters appear to be in a war of some kind with a group known as the Riders, and as a result of this conflict, the real Verso passes away as he sacrifices himself to save his little sister, Alicia, who is revealed to be Maëlle. The grief of losing her son drives Verso's mother, Aileen, to enter his painting because within that painting is a piece of Verso's soul, the only piece of Verso left in her life. Inside the painting, she recreates her family, including the Verso we have been playing as since Act 2. This includes Renoir, the old man who has been consistently attempting to stop the party, and the young girl with him, Alicia. Real Renoir enters the painting in an attempt to get Aileen to leave. He is worried that she will die in the real world if she refuses to leave this canvas. He implores her that she needs to let go of her son. This Renoir wants to erase the world, and Aileen wants to keep it going indefinitely. The two fight, and it leads to the event referred to as the Fracture. The monolith is created with real Renoir trapped underneath and real Aileen trapped on top, becoming the one we all know as the Paintress. This power struggle leads to the yearly Gommage. As Aileen's powers grow weaker over time, she is unable to completely fend off Renoir's power to destroy the world. And that's why, after we defeat the Paintress at the end of Act 2, we see all of the citizens of Lumiere Gommage. Real Renoir is now free to destroy this canvas, ensuring that Aileen cannot be trapped by her grief. However, one person stands in his way, Maëlle. Maëlle's real-world memories have merged with her memories from this world, and she is determined to keep Lumiere alive. For one, she has come to see the people of Lumiere as her family, but honestly, more than anything, she wants to keep Verso alive. Maëlle has felt a tremendous amount of guilt for the real Verso's death, and here in Lumiere, she can live the lifetime with him that was robbed from her in the real world. However, our Verso does not see eye to eye with her. After defeating real Renoir, I cannot say that word, oh my goodness. After defeating that guy in Lumiere, we see the trapped soul of real Verso painting. He is the driving force behind this world, and he is condemned to paint for eternity unless someone puts an end to this cycle. Our Verso wants to do just that. He has hidden his motives from the party since his arrival, but our Verso wants to destroy this canvas so his soul can truly be at rest and his family can move on. And then, Expedition 33 gives us, the player, a choice. In the final battle to decide the fate of Lumiere, do we play as Maëlle or do we play as Verso? My favorite decisions in video games are ones like this, ones where you truly agonize over which one to pick, and even after you pick one, you're still not sure. In this case, both ideologies make sense, and I can see the positives of both sides, but at the same time, I can see the negatives too. There is no clear-cut right answer, although the way the game presents the consequences of this choice may suggest that one ending is better than the other. Personally, I chose to fight as Maëlle. It was obviously not an easy choice, but at the end of the day, I, like Maëlle, could not bear to say goodbye to this world. This entire journey was to save the people of Lumiere and ensure that they could live full lives. For me, it didn't feel right to essentially wipe out an entire world of people to free one family from grief. I felt good about my choice until I defeated Verso and watched the ending. Watching Verso beg Maëlle to destroy the canvas and free his soul was heartbreaking, but what actually made me uneasy was the cutscene that followed. We see everyone getting together in a concert hall for a performance. Ciel has been reunited with her husband. Gustave has returned with Sophie by his side. Our group, our family, is back together, but something just doesn't feel right. This should be a happy, fulfilling, and triumphant moment, and yet there is an uncanniness to it all that just doesn't allow you the happiness that you desperately want for these characters. Suddenly, the scene goes black and white as Verso appears on stage to perform. His face does not reflect happiness or excitement. In fact, it projects a feeling of quiet resignation. Disappointment, frustration, and hopelessness all tied into one expression. Although Maëlle brought Verso back, he is clearly not happy with how things have turned out. He looks out into the crowd, seeing the faces of Ciel, Lune, and then finally, Maëlle. We are instantly reminded that Maëlle really doesn't belong to this world. Like her mother before her, Maëlle has essentially chosen to trap herself within Lumiere because she refuses to move on from her grief in the real world. Verso sees this too. When he looks at Maëlle, he doesn't see the version we have seen throughout the majority of the game. No, he sees his little sister, Alicia, who has chosen to prolong the imprisonment of his soul for her own sake. And as his eyes return to the piano, Verso realizes that like the fragment of his soul that created this canvas, he will be perpetually performing for everyone else's sake while he can never know peace. Roll credits. I gotta say that I was absolutely stunned when I saw this. When the screen cut to Maëlle with paint over her eyes, I got chills and I felt an immense sense of regret. But then again, I just saved an entire world. For all intents and purposes, the people in Lumiere are real people with lives, hopes, and dreams. While they do not exist in the quote-unquote real world, their lives matter, right? Immediately after seeing Maëlle's ending, I had to watch Verso's, and artistically, the game presents his ending as the good ending. Although I struggled to completely agree with that representation. If Verso defeats Maëlle, he can free his soul from the eternal painting. As the world begins to fade away, he is forced to come face to face with both Ciel and Lune. Ciel has always been quick to understand and forgive Verso for his actions, and the same seems to be true here. Clearly, she doesn't want this to happen. Ciel wants to be reunited with her husband, but at the same time, she understands why Verso does what he does, and so she accepts her fate. Lune, on the other hand, is absolutely pissed. Verso has betrayed her trust multiple times, and this look of fury tells more than I ever could. Verso then turns around and frees himself from this world, bringing an end to Lumiere and all of its inhabitants. We then cut to the real world, where Maëlle is reunited with her family, and they come together to truly grieve the loss of Verso and move on. This ending is treated as hopeful, as Maëlle can go on to paint new worlds into existence while giving her brother the peace he so desperately wanted. But is this really a hopeful ending? While Lumiere only existed in a canvas, it was real. Like I said, the people in Lumiere are as real and as deserving of life as the people in the real world. We freed Verso's soul and allowed this family to move on, but it was at the cost of an entire world full of people. Is that better? And that's why the final act of this game will stick with me. Neither ending is perfect, and there are arguments to be made for which ending would be considered the better ending. Even now, I am not entirely sure. Part of it comes down to how you view Lumiere. Are the people there real, or are they worth less than the real people because their world exists in a canvas? It's a fascinating ethical question, and I've been thinking about it non-stop since I hit the credits. Personally, I lean towards the Mael ending as being the better ending, simply because the price of giving Verso peace seems to be too steep for me. I can't wrap my head around wiping out an entire world just to give one person peace. But then again, at what point is it unethical to keep Verso's soul trapped, endlessly painting so the world can continue on? I truly don't know the answers to these questions, but trust me, I will be thinking about both outcomes for a long, long time, and I imagine my opinion over which ending is truly better will evolve over time. As this is a divisive topic, I'm sure that many of you will disagree with me, and that's great. I would love to hear what you think about Expedition 33's ending. Which one do you consider to be the good ending? Or, I don't think good's actually the right word here. Which ending would you consider to be the better ending? I would love to hear it and let me know in the comments below. But anyway, while this ending is divisive, I think there's one thing that we can all agree on. We need a DLC where you play as Expedition 60 ASAP.